Last time on Square Roots, Selphie loves a parade, Renoa has daddy issues, and our new sniper friend deals with the inherent pressures of his high-stakes job. Later, Squall dies, and now we dive deep, deep into his final thoughts.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I am joined by Matthew Van Zant.
I am still alive, and this is not all a fantasy that I'm having as I die.
John Norg Brandon.
I'm so angry.
God, was Norg the worst thing in this chunker?
No.
And Vanessa.
I'm Vanessa, and I'm paying attention.
And this is a podcast where we play and talk about your favorite classic RPGs one chunker at a time, like Final Fantasy VIII, which we're playing right now.
Hey, Jim, before we start this episode, I just have a list of apologies that I was wrong about, and I just need to apologize.
Yeah, John, one thing before you start. I appreciate that you're going to correct yourself, but also, you know you don't have to, right? It's okay. It's okay to be wrong about stuff.
Well, I just feel like I have disappointed my fans. I've disappointed our audience. I've disappointed my family. So, without further ado...
What about me? What about me?
You like it when I'm wrong, so I really feel like...
We relish it when you're wrong.
All right, so...
Because it happens so infrequently.
I'm sorry, I was wrong about leveling Squall. It turns out that it's just a number, like the average of your current party is the level of the monsters you're fighting against, so it doesn't matter if Squall's level 1. I thought it did, but I guess it's just everybody. You can keep everyone low level. So my keeping Squall low and leveling up everyone else was actually counterproductive. I was wrong about Renoa being the one you rescue from the dinosaur. That was not Renoa. The person who it is revealed in this episode.
Well, you also rescue her from the giant insect, not the dinosaur.
You were wrong
Just
about
FYI.
rescuing
You
her
were
from a
wrong
dinosaur.
about that again.
I'm wrong about rescuing that character from a dinosaur. It turns out it was a giant insect. I'm wrong about not going back to being Laguna again. I thought there was only 2 instances of it. There are many more.
He insisted to me that there were only 2, even though I had just played the 3rd section as Laguna.
I was wrong about who General Caraway was in a segment that I edited out of the show. I thought it was Laguna. This episode very clearly states it is not Laguna. I was wrong about Kylie Minogue being pronounced Minogue. It turns out Minogue is pronounced Minogue.
So not like the fish.
I was wrong about Forza Horizon 3 and 4 not being good. They are actually good games once you get into them. I was wrong that me and my group of friends invented calling someone Tolly McTallface or Tollerson. Turns out that was from Mystery Science Theater. I was also wrong about being 6'5". It turns out I am not 6'5". I am 5'6". And
simple mistake.
That's why we call you the Pocket Bear.
Accept my apologies and respect my privacy and my family's privacy during this difficult time.
You also had another... Oh, well, I guess that's not your level up, is it?
No, we'll get to that.
That's
later.
not John's level up. That's John's apology corner.
Yes.
Yeah, John's apology corner.
Apology corner. I was wrong about
John's
a lot
already got
of
a
things.
corner, so this is more like John's apology nook, you know?
Yeah.
It's an
Yeah.
apology nook.
Yeah.
You pop in, you just sit down and you have
Apology
your
den.
apologies. Oh, an apology den. Wow, that's more serious.
Yeah.
It's like the main room of the house.
What?
Is that all you're doing? Is apologizing?
The den is not... The den's like an annex. In our house... Vanessa, how much of the Square Roots house is the den?
I don't know. I don't go in there. It smells weird. I guess because Matt's spending all his time in there.
Yeah, he does
Jeez.
call it the main room of the house, and all his underwear strung up there.
Yeah,
Like, I guess drying.
It's
We
clean.
have a dryer.
It's clean.
We
so it
have a
shouldn't smell.
dryer. It does smell April fresh.
Thank you. Vanessa said
And
I
it's-
smell bad,
it's
and that's not
March.
nice. I would never say that about you, Vanessa.
Everyone
That is
knows
so
that I
mean.
only use unscented detergent. I don't like those fake smells.
So that is my apology, Dan. And let's move on.
Into the level up
let's.
nook.
I think we need to get into all of the weirdness in this episode. So let's do the level ups.
Have we
I'll go
even talked about what this show is yet?
Yeah, I said it.
He
I
did.
say it every week.
I waited till
say
he
it every
said
week.
what the show is before I started my apology corner.
Vanessa,
Last
I don't
week,
think he said
I was
it.
the one that forgot. and I was
definitely-
the one that said it.
I'm
He
with Vanessa.
definitely did. I listened to him say it because I was waiting for him to do it so I could do my apologies.
Team didn't say it.
You guys just don't pay attention.
I mean, that's very
Anyways.
true.
I'm gonna go first in the level up this week. So I
What do we do
began
on this show,
watching a
Jim?
show.
I had
What's
my
that?
hand raised.
What do we do
How
on this
dare
show?
you?
I lowered it.
I had
Shut
my
up,
hand
Dylan.
raised.
I lowered
sir.
it.
Don't lower my hand.
He did it
So-
gently with a soft touch.
So my level up, I started watching a show on HBO Max called The Investigation, or as it's called in its native language, Danish, Efter Forskingen.
What?
Sorry, what?
What?
It's about the investigation into the murder of a journalist named Kim Wall that actually happened in I don't know. She was a Swedish journalist, was killed in between Sweden and Denmark, I think. It was a big high profile case. Vanessa had heard of it when I told her about it.
I sure had.
And the show, like I said, it's called The Investigation. It's basically just a police procedural. Goes into all the details of how they investigated this murder and how they're prosecuting this guy. It spends no time on the guy who is accused of the murder. It spends no time showing any like body parts or anything about the victim. It spends a little bit of time with the victim's parents because they help out with the investigation, but otherwise it's just about the police and the divers who are looking for this lady's remains in the sound. And man, is it a good show. It's a real slow burn, but the characters are great. It also stars the guy that played Euron Greyjoy in Game of Thrones.
Ooh.
He's the prosecutor who's trying to try this case. And man, the Danish court system is weird. Essentially, like the accused, like whoever's accused of a crime, they can change their story as many times as they want throughout the course of an investigation. And it's, I guess, like it's not something it's something that the police consider, but it's just like allowed. It's crazy, but it's a great show. It's on HBO Max. Check it out. Vanessa, how did you level up this week?
Well, I was on the internet on a popular social media site, and somebody mentioned that they weren't familiar with the fact that Bruce Willis used to have hair, and they posted a picture of him from the television show Moonlighting. Now, everyone knows that I love Moonlighting. I think it's the greatest. It's like the peak of early 80s detective dramedies. I want to be Sybil Shepherd when I grow up and own my own detective agency. It's wonderful. But what's really great about Moonlighting is that the first season is sort of your traditional semi-procedural show, and then it just evolves. It's very auteur. It ends up with like their unborn baby doing a tap dance number down a flight of stairs.
Excuse me?
I went on the internet and I tried to find this dance number, and I couldn't find that one, but I did find an extended ballet dream sequence set to Billy Joel's Big Man on Mulberry Street, but it's sung by a woman, and features a dancer that is, of course, the famous long-legged Bob Fosse interpreter Sandal Bergman. You may know Sandal Bergman from She, the post-apocalyptic film in which women rule over men, and she is the leader of them all. Now, there's a prophecy about She that says that she will be murdered by her lover, so she forbids women from falling in love with men. But when she's kidnapped by a charming merchant, can she keep to her own laws? Anyway, it's on YouTube. It's this great 6-minute dance ballet with Bruce Willis just dancing his heart out to this Billy Joel cover. And that really inspired me to listen to some more Billy Joel. Billy Joel? It's okay. Some of them are instant skips. Some of them I like. Some of them I like to hear like once a year, but not all the time. But it's featured heavily in the television show The Boys, and I'm looking forward to the 4th season of that.
I think it's the 3rd.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not looking forward to
But
the
you're
3rd
also looking
season.
forward to the third, to the 4th.
Yeah.
She goes in the
Yeah, so I guess what I'm saying is give Billy Joel another chance. He's fine. He's not hurting anyone. Like, he's not going to come to your house and punch you in the face. Just leave him alone.
And he has a song about strangers that straight people really love.
Yes, he does. The Stranger.
Yes. Straight
Joey's
people
given
love that song.
to The Stranger. Yeah, Billy Joel is exclusively for straight people. So,
Wow. But I like Uptown Girl.
Okay, maybe that one isn't.
And in the okay, let's just say doo-wop era Billy Joel is for everyone, but
Yes.
pre-doo-wop Billy Joel is for straight people.
Mm-hmm.
What's a song that's pre-doo-wop Billy Joel?
Piano Man,
Instant
The Stranger.
skip.
Oh, I don't know anything about Billy Joel. I've yet to fall down a Billy Joel hole.
Oh, I think you would like The Stranger is legit a good song, but it's like Come On Eileen. It's like one of those songs that straight people.
Ooh, love Come On Eileen. Did somebody
Yeah,
say
see?
Come On Eileen?
Come on, Eileen.
I feel my feet at this moment.
You
All
may
right.
live.
Okay, sorry, we're making Vanessa's level up take a long time. With
No, that was
joy.
the end of my level up. Please go on YouTube and watch this dance routine where Bruce Willis tries to dance as if he were Fred Astaire or Gene Kelly, and he ain't.
Is
I
that
wish
song
Bruce
about Billy
Willis
Joel
was
sitting
better.
on his own hand?
Big Man on Mulberry Street?
No, The Stranger.
The Stranger.
I think that one is Laura, isn't it?
Come on, Eileen.
Vanessa, who's next?
Next would be Johnny.
Oh, Matt's last again?
Yeah, always.
Oh.
A real slap in the face.
Well, for whatever reason, at midnight Sunday last week, I decided to buy myself and Julio, without telling him, Valheim on PC. I just sent him a Steam code randomly in the middle of the night, and he was
nice.
like, "What?" Well, it's not an expensive game, and yeah, we started playing it. Although for whatever reason, I was just too sleepy to really understand how the game worked at the time. I went back and played it more. That game is interesting. It's like the PC game of the moment. Everyone's talking about this Valheim. The Valheim is it's a survival game in the Minecraft style, all about crafting and going from being naked and afraid to being a powerful Viking. And there's like
That sounds
missions and bosses and stuff. The graphic style is a throwback to, I'd say, like EverQuest 1. So it's a little, you know how Minecraft is like a 1995 sort of throwback look? This is more of a 2000s throwback look. So Deus Ex and like early Dreamcast games and all that. It's got a really cool retro aesthetic to it, but like combined with really beautiful lighting and soft focus and stuff. And yeah, it's a kind of difficult crafting game. you're always constantly under attack, and it's like you can get cold and freeze to death. You can build a fire and the smoke can fill up your house, and you can die from asphyxiation if you don't build a chimney and that kind of stuff. And it's got like the way that buildings work, they have like stress points and maximum load that you can put onto walls and things like that. It's very simulation-y in a cool way. Also, when you cut down trees, they can fall and kill you, which is hilarious.
Also, I heard there's a great bug where if a bird lands on your boat, the game puts the boat in control of the bird, and the birds can fly away with your boat.
Yeah, I've heard that is something that can happen. I haven't played a ton of it, so I will report back about Valheim. But it's interesting so far. I did play most of the demo. Right now, you can download a demo to a Square Enix game called Outriders. It's by People Can Fly, who did Bulletstorm. That's like, and some Gears of War sequels, I think. And it plays a lot like Gears of War, but it's like a Destiny sort of game, except that it has an ending. So it's not like a game you play for 400 hours. It's a game you play for like 30 hours.
Oh, Bulletstorm, by the way, good game with fucking terrible characters and dialogue.
I would say so far this game has some terrible characters and dialogue. Although I think the voice actor of your main character is like interestingly relaxed in a way. Like whoever does the voice, like male and female voice acting, they're really good. And so, like, they're giving this dumb dialogue. They have kind of just, like, a really friendly way of doing it that's very likable. And you can make a beefy boy with a beard, or a beefy lady. And you get magic powers. It's kind of, like, I'd play the demo and see if you like it, because why not? It's, like, 5 hours long, so you can definitely get a good sense of what you think of the game. It's the first game I've played on the Xbox Series X that has slowdown.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah,
That's a bummer.
It's a bit of a bummer when that happens. But Outriders, it's not great. And it's got military men yelling at you, which is another thing that straight men like. I don't know why. But, you know.
It's a daddy thing.
Yeah, that's what I keep thinking, too. It's like, oh, I need army daddy to yell at me and give me orders.
I thought you were going to say, I need milk, which is not a thing that men want to say to their fathers.
Matthew.
Yes.
How did you level up?
Ooh, I leveled up by finally getting around to finishing, or really rewatching, the 3rd season of popular hit DC animated television program Young Justice.
Hello, I'm also watching Young Justice.
Vanessa is also watching it, so I will not do the spoils. I watched the 3rd season. I watched most of it when it was coming out week to week and was kind of down on it, but rewatching it all at once made it, I think, a lot sharper and a lot more fun. There's some super great episodes in there. I think it starts slow, but it picks up in the 2nd season as it kind of shifts focus on the larger picture, and it's super good, and I'm excited for the upcoming season 4. It's on HBO Max. Vanessa, how far into the season are you?
I think like episode 17 or something like that.
Mm-hmm. It's like 26, I think.
Yeah, like a little over midway. Matt, who is your favorite Young Justice?
Ooh, that's a tough question. Of all of them, or from the new season, or what's the...
Let's do season by season.
Oh, really? I really love Miss Martian in the 1st season. She's a fun character, and I like Robin a lot in the 1st season. He's a lot of fun. The 2nd season introduces Blue Beetle, and he's great. I'm a big fan of Blue Beetle, and his whole crew. Static is in it, which is a lot of fun. The 3rd season... the problem that I had with the 3rd season is I didn't love a lot of the newer characters they introduced as much. And as it shifted focus away from pretty much being all about them, I liked it more and more. But I guess Beast Boy was definitely my favorite character in the 3rd season. He's wonderful. Also, there's a Doom Patrol Go episode with all the voices from Teen Titans Go that is just phenomenal. Anyway, that's how I leveled up. Listeners, why don't you go check out Young Justice? I've been trying to talk Jim into watching it. He said he will, but then he started watching Flum Glurber Schnark instead.
Last night I was gonna start it, and then I looked on HBO Max and saw that they just added Blade. So I was like, I gotta watch Blade.
Yeah, you gotta watch some Blade. All right, let's dive into the Quirschlerg.
So if you
This is
remember,
more like Squall's Mopey Boy Journal. Ugh, why do people want me to do things? It's hilarious how he'll like sit around and be like, I hate it when I'm not doing stuff because then I think too much. But then somebody gives him something to do and he's like, why do I have to do that? Such a fucking idiot, Squall.
now, I would like to say this doesn't mean that people who identify with Squall's like difficulty in communication and self-doubt, that doesn't mean that you are idiots. Let me clarify that. So last time we did learn that Renoa had a camp boyfriend named Seifer, and she did move to Balem Garden in California just to be with Seifer. And that was fun. But I thought Vanessa would like that joke.
I understood. I just didn't want to interrupt you because I was enjoying your singing. And then I was thinking about Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. And then I was thinking about how she didn't really move there. She just wanted to visit, I think.
I'm doing a bit, Vanessa. Doing a bit that she is, and now she's dating Seifer's best friend. So, no, she's... So but also probably the biggest thing to happen at the end of last episode is that Squall died, as Vanessa said in her last time on, and he did get impaled by a piece of kryptonite that did push him off of a float.
Mm-hmm. And interestingly, everything that happens in the game from that point on is his final dying thoughts between the time he's impaled and when he hits the ground.
Like
and that impact finally kills him.
Incident at Owl Creek, is that do you guys ever have to read that in high school?
Is that a Jacob's Ladder scenario?
Yeah,
it's a Jacob's Ladder
or a
scenario.
guy is like, I think he's like about to be hung or something, and he imagines escape. I don't remember the story. I'm just going off of memory. But yeah, it just happens in the instant before his like neck snaps or something.
Mm-hmm. And Sorceress Did is going to turn into a scorpion. So you come to in Disc 2. We're now in Disc 2 territory. And you are Laguna again. And you're at a house with a little girl. And her name is... Okay, how would you pronounce this? Elone or L1?
I wouldn't pronounce it L1.
I would not pronounce it L1.
L1?
He calls her Ellie.
I mean, it is a PlayStation game.
Alone.
I thought it was alone.
Yeah, I thought it was alone, like alone. Like she's alone in the world.
So L1 is...
Elone.
she's walking around the town, going from the pub where her mommy Julia's working to this house. And
Final Fantasy loves a single mom owning a bar. That's Final Fantasy's deal.
Well, I think a lot of things in this game are like, well, people like the last one, so let's do that again, but different.
No, see, it's like echoes of the past games. They rhyme.
George Lucas.
Damn it, George Lucas.
Nobody invited you on this show.
Watch The
Laguna's
Mandalorian on Disney Plus. I have nothing to do with it, but I still get a little money on the side.
L1.
I tried to put some aliens in the bar in the flashback, but Square Enix told me I couldn't.
We decided to replace the song Eyes on Me with Jedi Rocks instead because it's way better.
So the Laguna's like, hey, L1, I don't really think you should be walking around town because it's full of monsters and it's dangerous. And she's like, oh, but I'm big and strong. And it's just like 2 doors down or 3 doors down. And
Speaking of kryptonite.
And she's like, well, mommy wants you to go to the pub and there's a weird man there. And so you do. And Rain is working there. Who's Rain? Is Rain a new character?
Yeah.
He was your squad.
No,
squad
that's
man.
Laguna. No, that's Kyros.
Yeah, Rain's the lady.
Rain's the
lady.
Yeah, Kyros is the guy that shows up.
Laguna is shacked up with a woman and her daughter in
Well, they
this
live
rando
above the
town.
bar. He lives 3 doors down.
That's true. But I think 3 doors down is her house. So he's like in the kind of skeezy guy thing where he's like kind of shacked up with a girl and her daughter, but also like she doesn't call him her boyfriend. She refers to him as Uncle Laguna to L1.
Well, they're not. I got
Stop
the
calling
impression
her
that
L1.
they're not like
That is-
intimate.
I will not.
She is not a robot, John.
Until the game tells me how to pronounce it, it's L1. You can pronounce-
L1D2.
John, these games don't tell you how to pronounce anything.
It's true.
Which is why we're always mispronouncing Final Fantasy words.
So you get a little bit of backstory here. Like after the fall that he and Ward and Kyros did, because Kyros is there, and Kyros is wearing a weird suit. He's not in his Galbadian army suit anymore. He's wearing it looks like a slim Goodbody suit, kind of. It's just like weird
Yeah.
and it's gross.
Weird Final Fantasy outfit.
It's just like walking around.
He's just walking around clothes, his like leather vest and his like tight
Kyros
chaps or
on
whatever
the
they are.
town.
I like Laguna's relaxed wear outfit though. He's got like a little jacket because of course he does, and like comfortable pleated brown pants.
Yeah, he's that's Laguna Monster Hunter uniform.
It's his lovely Monster Hunter. Yeah, it's his cash, his relaxed cash for patrols and stuff. And so Kyros is there. They haven't seen each other since the attack, and they're sort of catching up. And he's like, "Oh yeah, so Julia's like a big star now. She's got her album. Everyone loves her song, Eyes on Me." And Laguna's like, "That song was written about me,
All eyes on me. All eyes on me. Whatever you see, let it be me. All eyes on me.
That's
Okay.
a great song.
Yeah, it's a number one hit.
Yeah, everyone loves it, and the rest of the song's like, "You were really confused and you stared at me while I was playing the piano at the club, and then when we got to my room and you got really drunk and you passed out on my bed."
All eyes on me. All eyes on me. Whoever you see, let it be me. All eyes on me.
So every bone in his body was broken during that fall.
Every
Apparently.
bone in your body was
Rain
broken when you
nursed him
fell
back to
for
health.
me.
Rain is a very pretty. She's like a slimmer Tifa,
Pretty
although I guess
girl
everyone's
nursed
kind
you
of like.
back, but her beauty you couldn't see, 'cause it was all eyes on me, all eyes on me, all eyes on me.
Yeah, Julia's pretty. Everyone's real tall and slim in this game. So she's kind of a tall and slim bartender lady. She's a little sassy. I like her. I like L1 as well. And you and Kyros decide to be useful and go for a walk around the city, which is a patrol because the city's full of monsters. So you go walk.
Laguna says this is how he's like repaying the village for letting him stay there. But
And
if
Kyros
you-
is helping because Rain is like, you got to do something to get food and board.
right. But if you chat with the guards that are around the village, they really do not like Laguna. They're like, "Get the heck out of here! Go kill some monsters. Make yourself useful, idiot."
Maybe they don't like that he quit the army. That he like got relieved of duty because he broke every bone in his body.
That's not his fault. It's not his
Everyone
fault.
seems like real prepared for a war on Esther. We never hear about Esther though. Like like in the rest of the game, Esther doesn't seem to be a particularly big force, right?
Not
John-
yet.
John,
I
why
guess
would
not
you
yet.
say that? You know you're just going to have to apologize for saying it later.
That's true.
That's true. So you go for a long walk around the town. The town is really empty. There's no one walking around. There's like an old lady in a store, and she's got the ugliest face I've seen on an NPC in a
Wow.
while. Her face is real messed up. I did notice that when you get to the edge of town, there's a Chocobo Crossing sign. Does that mean Chocobos just went extinct pretty recently?
No, they
Chocobos
mention
are
Laguna
extinct?
mentions that there are chocobos.
They're not extinct. Why would you say that?
Holy shit, Monty Mole just showed up because it turned 7 o'clock. Oh, Monty Mole's back on my little clock. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting distracted by my lovely clock. So yeah, there's you haven't seen a Chocobo in this game, but you do see a Chocobo Crossing sign. You get to the edge of town, you're like, okay, let's
Do you
turn
see
back.
deer crossing signs and like look around and see no deer, and you're like, I guess deer are extinct.
I guess the deer are extinct.
Well, I've seen plenty of deer in life, but not in this game.
I make that conclusion. You know, John, I
but-
think the same thing when I see like a school crossing sign where
If
like
there's no
children on it.
students.
There's no children around. They must all be extinct.
There hasn't been a single Chocobo in this game. I guess it's like how we don't see horses a lot now because everyone has cars. Maybe it's like that. Is it like that, Vanessa?
Yeah, it's like that.
Okay.
They're horses. They're just in the countryside. I'm sure some people see horses a lot. What about you, Jim? When's the last time you saw a horse?
I saw a horse like a month ago.
Ah, that's cool.
Wow. I haven't seen a horse in a couple of years, I would assume. Something like that.
That's because they're extinct.
Oh, okay. Laguna says, oh, hey, I don't know if you can feel it, but the fairies are back. The fairies, I think he's referring to like Selphie and Squall and Zell.
Oh.
Yes, I think so, too.
I didn't understand that.
And they're always like, well, our luck seems to be better when the fairies are around. So they seem to be happy that the fairies are kind of watching them. So it's interesting that they can sense when the fairies are there. And
Yeah, because they're like controlling their bodies and everything.
that is a slur. So, you know, watch your language there, Laguna. JK. You head back, and L1 and Rain are talking, and L1 is like, I want Uncle Laguna to move in with us. You two should get married. And Rain is like, well, that's like complicated because I think Uncle Laguna wants to keep like traveling and working and being a reporter. I don't think he wants to stay in a town like this. And L1's like, but I love him so much. And Rain's like, yeah, I really like him too, but I don't know. I don't know if Uncle Laguna's good for Rain.
This is straight up eavesdropping on a private conversation between a mother and her daughter.
And her robot daughter, yeah.
And L1, her robot daughter.
Yeah, exactly.
The small wonder that is.
So Laguna does come up and say hi, and he does want to go. Like, I think he already has been sending in articles for Timber Maniacs about his travels, and he does want to travel the whole world and write more for Timber Maniacs. And we've been finding, as like bonuses around the world, you've been finding his articles, but you never read them. It just gives you like you've read it.
Yeah. Timber Maniacs, issue whatever.
I don't want to say something that turns out to be incorrect, but I feel like if you get all of them, you get some cutscenes about what they did, but I don't know. I know there's something to collecting all the Timber Maniacs. But smash cut to D District Prison. Squall wakes up. He is not dead. He is taking over to Seifer's for a little bit of crucifixion. And I gotta say, I was so happy to see him crucified on the wall. It made my heart grow 3 sizes. I love it. Anytime a JRPG character is crucified. Jim, do you like it when JRPG characters are crucified?
I thought this was a weird scene. It didn't like Squall. later when you rescue Squall, you'll be like, "Oh, what was going on in here?" And Squall just says, "It was hell." But like, I don't know, he didn't really seem like he was in that much pain.
I love it.
Yeah, me too. I love it when there's a guard and he's like pressing the electrocute button. And,
What other game has this been in?
well, I mean, in Persona 3, they all get crucified. Remember?
Oh yeah, that's
and they're
right.
up on crosses. Here, he's just up on a wall, but he is in like the T pose.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. In
Interesting.
wasn't in Dragon Age. I'm sure there was some character who was being tortured.
Oh,
Certainly
probably.
in Fable.
So Seifer is like, his main question to Squall is, "Hey Squall, what is Seed all about?"
What is Seed?
And Squall's like, you were in the same class as I was, buddy. He's like, "No, they got to tell you something special when you become a Seed, and I'm really jealous, and I want to be a Seed, except now I'm the good guy, I'm the hero, I'm the sorceress's knight, and everyone loves me, and I'm heroic, and you're just like a villain."
Evil mercenary.
Seifer starts saying that it was his childhood dream to be the sorceress's knight, and Squall's like, "What?" He's like, "Oh, my childhood dream. It's what I wanted my whole life, and I know that when you reach clear level 8, they give you secret documents and tell me what is in them."
He's just mad about being kicked out of Seed. Is that what's going on?
I mean, I
he
think
wasn't
he's pretty
kicked
crazy.
out though.
Yeah,
He was
Yeah.
kidnapped by this sorceress.
that's true. He probably would have been kicked out though for attacking the president without, orders to do so.
Maybe.
And he also failed the exam like 5 times.
That's true. That's because he doesn't follow orders because he's a cool character.
That is true. So meanwhile, Selphie, Zell, and Quistis are also in prison. They have a mean guard to deal with, and he's very mean to... Okay, they're not called Moombas. He's very mean to the Moombas. who
Yeah,
are-
why does this prison have cute, cuddly guards?
I don't know, but they're so adorable, and they're nice, and they like you.
Yeah, I think the Moombas are like people who serve you the food, and they...
Mhm.
Well, they don't do janitorial work because that's
No.
Ward's job.
Which we
they're
should
just
mention
like-
that Zell, because I guess Zell is Ward, or like Zell's the one who's Ward whenever they get those dream sequences, and Zell's like, "Oh yeah, Ward works here. Maybe we could go say
and they're
hi."
just like, "What?" And he's
like,
like,
"Yeah."
"Yeah, Ward."
Big guy, he can't talk anymore. He carries an anchor.
So, are we to believe that when Squall and Selphie went into Laguna
Mhm.
and what's his name?
Kyros, Ward.
Kyros. Then Zell went into Ward and
Yes.
was just like mopping the floor.
Yes. He had maybe not the best experience compared to the other two.
I mean, it's pretty important plot-wise, though, right? Like, I think that we assumed that everybody was kind of experiencing this thing together, but now they're separated by, they're still experiencing the same people, but at different times. So Zell just
Or
gets to
different
watch.
places. The same time, different places.
Same different places. So Zell just has to watch this guy mop the floor.
That's
Super cool.
amazing. Yeah, so this guard is super mean to the Moombas. Okay, let's describe the Moombas. They're like a Pokemon. They're like a
little
fire
Chester
type.
cheetahs. They're anime Chester cheetahs.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
anime
they're little Chester cheetahs.
Chester cheetahs, and they love a crunch and sugar crisps or whatever it is that Chester cheetah does. And
He's Cheetos.
Hey, he loves a crunch.
That's
Yeah,
why
he
he
loves
likes
sugar.
Cheetos. He loves
Chester
sugar.
Cheetahs.
Those sugary Cheetos.
Chester Cheetah's famous catchphrase, "I love a crunch,"
Yeah.
and sugary cereal.
can't get
Snap,
enough of
crackle,
this
pop.
crunchy
I'm
crop.
Chester Cheetah.
I believe that the Moomba looks more like a Digimon than a Pokemon.
Okay. I'll accept that. I can't wait until we can play in 3 years Digimon Cyber Sleuth. because that game was fun.
I thought that game was kind of boring.
You're kind of boring.
It would be great if it was like a full world you were playing in, but you just kind of play in the same area for the whole game, and it's very boring.
Aren't there like 3 of them, though?
Whatever. It all looks the same. It's all like cyberpunk bullshit. You
Well,
fucking
Matt,
code.
We're going to do it one day.
Okay.
Speaking of cyberpunk bullshit, vote for Deus Ex in our Patreon poll live now.
It's true.
Good plug. Good plug.
Good plug. So Zell beats up this mean guard, and then you go outside. Then Zell sneaks outside and grabs all their weapons, which are just conveniently like 1 floor down in a big pile, and all the guards are like looking at it being like, look at all these cool guns and weapons. Those are nunchucks, and we got a gun blade.
Did you mention that the Moomin comes with you?
Is that? I don't remember.
The Moomin came with me.
Probably. I was nice to the Moomba.
Yeah, I was nice to it, and it wanted to come with me when I sent Zell. And I thought, great, I'll have this Moomba for my party member, but it doesn't do anything.
No, they don't attack or anything. So you bring your weapons back to the jail cell, and then the mean guard comes back and he's like, okay, you guys are in real trouble now. Now we've got the biggest, baddest guards you'll ever encounter who have just been transferred here. Biggs and Wedge, everyone. And Biggs and Wedge come up and they're like, oh, you guys are in such trouble now because we've got weapons and you guys don't have weapons, so we're going to kick your ass. But then everyone reveals their weapon and then grows like I think one of my favorite parts of any game we've ever played.
It was amazing. They
all grow. Like, it doesn't, you might say, John, they just cut to them in like a close up. No, they do not. They scale to like 20 feet tall and then like pose with their weapons, one very slowly, one by one. And I think it doesn't a Moomba do it too?
Yeah, the Moomba that comes with you does it too. So it's like Zell like expands till he fills up the whole screen, and he does a pose with his weapon. He's like, ugh. And then you get Quistis, and she's like, meh. And then you get Selphie, and she's like, meh. And then the Moomba grows up, and it's just like, but. It's amazing.
It's incredible. Jim, is this your favorite part of any game we've ever played?
I wouldn't say that, but it was entertaining.
Like, is this an anime thing? Is this a reference?
It feels like an anime thing. I don't have a big anime frame of reference, but I got an anime vibe from it.
I don't feel like I've ever seen it, though. But it
was insane.
It was wonderful, and so not with the tone of what's happening here.
Nope.
This chunker is tonally all over the place.
It's real bonkers. I kind of love this part. I think this is one of the best. You know, I was saying last time the last chunker was the best part of the game. I was wrong. Add that to my list of things I was wrong about, because this chunker is nuts.
Please remember that Squall is being tortured as this is going on.
Yes.
So, well, they're like making a fun new animal friend and being like, ha ha. Squall is crucified on a wall, being tortured.
I like that the guy who comes in with the Moomba and beats the shit out of Zell. His character name is Mean Guy.
Yes. Oh yeah. Don't they like at one? I think this is before this, but at one point they're just kicking Zell while he's on the floor.
Yeah, they like punch him and he falls to the floor, and then they just start kicking the shit out of him.
It was great. You're just like, yeah, get him. Boom, boom, boom,
But
boom.
like I was thinking, like Zell, hand-to-hand combat is like your thing.
That's
well,
true.
and he realizes that later.
Yes.
That's why he's the one to go get the
I was like,
weapons.
what?
He's like, they're like thinking, oh, if only we had weapons. And Zell's like, wait a minute.
He's like, wait, my weapons are my hands.
He's so stupid. So you beat up not Ward. You beat up Biggs and Wedge again.
Yeah.
They're not happy to have to fight you again. And then they're like, okay, now it's time to rescue Squall. So let's figure out how to do this. So at this point, you can actually go explore the entire jail. There's some guys who give you like, you can change your battle meters. I don't know how that works. I got it.
What's a battle meter?
I don't know. There's some guys like, I've upgraded you to a custom battle meter. So I got to go look and see how this works. I'll have to
I don't know what that is either.
There's also some guys you can play cards with.
But they charge you. I found this guy. He's like, game of cards is 300 gil.
And if you win, you get prizes, but all the prizes I got kind of sucked.
Yeah, there is a save spot in the cell right next to him, so you can save scum these card games.
You sure can. And at this point, you go up to the toppiest floor, and Squall is there, and you just have to beat a couple of normal enemies to rescue Squall. When does Irvin and Renoa show up? Because I was writing notes, and I couldn't remember exactly when they show up. I think Irvine shoots someone heroically and dives in.
No. So I think doesn't Squall come in and save Zell?
No.
And then
No.
they're
What?
hiding from gunfire, and then
That's
Irvine
right.
shows up.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think you save Zell, and then they're all shooting at you,
Because
and
the party splits up.
Oh,
The
okay.
party splits up, and then Squall's.
Yeah, you're glossing over the whole thing. You go to the top of the tippy tower, and there's like, they can't figure out how to get out, but they find the big arm thing that like moves cells around.
Yeah, because Squall's cell got brought up to the top from the bottom.
Yeah, they find Squall, they get him off the wall. They find the moving thing, and Zell is like, oh, I know how to move this thing because I'm Ward sometimes. And so he's like, you guys can ride this to the bottom. And
Yeah, because they think they're in a tower.
Yeah, and then you'll be on the ground floor, and I will stay here and control it. And they're like, cool, nice knowing you, goodbye, forever.
Yeah, leave him to die, which is totally reasonable.
Yep.
They get to the bottom floor, and they go and throw open the front doors, and it's just sand, like a snowstorm, but with sand that had piled up outside the door. And they're like, what the heck? We can't get out of here. And then the bullets started flying, pew, 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 pew. And that's when Irvine comes in, and he's like, yee-haw.
Renoa's here, too, for some reason.
Yeah. And it's great. Like, Irvine, like, shoots his gun and saves them. And then he starts, like, swagging down the stairs. And Squall's like, stop that. Like, don't do that. What are you doing? Like, don't walk. Oh, maybe it was Selphie. She's like, don't walk all cool down the stairs.
No, it's Renoa.
Oh, okay.
So he saves you, and then you're like, but how do we get them back up? Oh, no, there's some... Oh, that's right. Like, your party
Renoa's
has...
like, he came to save me, but did not want to save you. She really throws him under the bus here.
Yes, he was told by her father to go save her. And her father has arranged for her release from this prison, but he did not do so for the other characters. And so Irvine was like, that's not my job. As you'll recall, these people, they're very into being garden members and doing their jobs for the garden.
Right.
Yeah. He's trying to get that seed rank up.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
So there, once again, you gotta like go down to do. I just remember that you go up and down this jail like 15 times at this point, and
It
they
feels
split.
like a lot.
They split into a couple of teams, and then they're at one point they're like, "Hey, if we go into this, how are we gonna get back upstairs?" Someone has to push a button. They're like, "Oh, someone will hear us yelling," and I guess eventually you do get into the control room and hear them yelling. And you rescue everyone, and then you get out. The way out is through this upper exit, but then the prison starts transforming as you get out.
Yeah, the prison...
Yeah, I don't know what this is. Why is this prison like this?
I don't know. They remember there was that whole article about it in the Forest Owls Monthly or whatever.
Oh, yeah, totally. I remember that. Why don't you give me the recap, though? Just,
We'd have to go back
Give
to
me
our
the Cliff
notes.
version.
We'd have to go back to our notes from episode 2, but there was a
Okay.
whole thing about it.
Listen up. I'm going to tell you about this prison. This prison
us.
is 3 towers adjoined by sky bridges in a triangle formation. The towers are in a triangle formation, not the sky bridges, although they also are by default because they're the joining lines. The towers sit on top of big old drills, and the whole thing is in the desert. So this prison has the ability to drill down into the earth. So
Like a
that-
Final Fantasy VI?
like a Final Fantasy VI. So just the tippy top of the towers are showing, but it also has the ability to drill up and stand on its drills so that the whole thing is out. It's like a Doug trio. So right now the towers are all the way out. So Renault is confused because she was like, when I came in, it was just this little dome and we were at the ground. Now we're at the exit, but we're high up in the air.
very confusing.
Yeah. And it starts transforming, and the bridge collapses, and Squall. Is there a way of failing that cutscene?
I thought that I failed it because I was just scooting along. Because, like, Squall, like, he's running along this, as Vanessa called it, a sky bridge, and it starts to, like, retract. So he's, like, hanging off the side of it, and you can move him along the side of this sky bridge. But as you're doing it, there's, you know, a cinematic happening in the background where the thing is drilling into the ground. And I was still hanging on to the side of it because I had just figured out that I could move right before the thing ended. So I had just started moving and I was still hanging off the side of it when it started to go into the ground. And I thought, oh, I'm dead. But then he's just there.
I think, like, if you get him off of it, maybe you get more seed ranks or something.
My seed rank went up during this.
Yeah, I went to rank 10, so that's
You're
good.
rank 10?
Yeah.
Man, I'm only at rank 6.
God,
I'm still ranked 4.
You could just
I'm
do
ranked
a million of those
22.
tests.
What
Look
do
up
you
the
need it
answers.
for? There's nothing to buy. What's the point?
Vanessa, did you say you're rank 22?
Yes,
Why?
She did all
because
the tests.
I did all the tests.
What?
Like
Well,
a good
Vanessa
seed.
loves
Alright.
a test. Put that in your little Vanessa notebooks.
Bunch of dorks.
Vanessa is a test nerd.
I'm a test master.
No, I think I said it correctly.
Okay.
So we also have learned that Galbadia is launching missiles from their missile base, and they're going to launch missiles at Trebia Garden and Balam Garden.
I don't remember how we know this.
I feel like we overheard it, or like there's a radio thing, or maybe
Oh,
Irvine.
maybe Seifer said it.
Maybe.
He was like, "Her, I work for the sorceress. We're going to launch missiles." Yes, 2 missile attacks are underway.
And missile attack, so they're trying to get to the missile base before it happens, but then just as they're getting in the car, or like right after they get in the cars, they see the missiles fire, and it does mean that they are attacking Trebia first. And Trebia Garden is where Selphie's from, so she's very upset.
She is pissed off. She stands on top of a rock and she's like, "Oh." And then
you go
they
ahead.
discuss how they can only launch 1 missile attack at the time. And I guess it takes a long time for them to load up the new missiles or something like that. So they think that they have some time to stop the attack on Balam Garden. But it's going to
Right.
require that they split up.
Oh boy. So you can assign the 2 teams. I think Renoa and Squall have to be in the team that goes to the garden, and Selphie has to be in the team that goes to the missile base.
Yes.
So it's sort of a matter of who you bring where. I brought Irvine with the missile team. No, with the Balam Garden team. And
So did I. I have Squall, Irvine, and Zell.
I brought Quistis because she is also from there. and I wanted to give her a chance to save her home. I did not bring Zell because he is the one who caused it to be attacked in the first place with his big mouth. So his punishment is he has to go to the missile silo with Selphie and Irvine.
Mm-hmm. So for me, Quistis went with them, and Quistis was the one who figured out that she could get an ID card from this truck she was in. They dress up in uniforms. So the first mission you do is the Galbadian missile base, and you're in a car, and you do sneak into the base. You're dressed in the uniforms. You get inside, and then you do some real like spy hitman pretending to be people stuff, and I had a lot of fun with this.
I like Selphie's insistence that everything has to be fucking destroyed.
Yeah. She's like, we're going to destroy this place.
Like, self-destruct.
Yep. And this time she actually does get to blow up a missile base, except she is locked inside at the end, so whoops.
I like that they let Selphie be like no, she's kind of a badass here.
Yep.
Like there are some options you can like there's at one point where you're trying to make your way past a guard, and there are some options like act casual, or like fight now, or like try to talk your way out of it. And I chose act casual and got by without having to fight anybody. And you get this little line of dialogue from Quistis, who's like, it's like, wow, Selphie really knows what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Which was pretty cool. I like Selphie.
Me too.
She's the best character in this game.
Yeah, for sure. Other than Laguna, Ward, and Kiros.
They aren't real. They're just a figment of everyone's imagination.
So you sneak inside. You can talk your if you talk your way through all these situations, you get a way better seed rank than if you fight everyone. So you definitely want to talk your way through this. You have to pretend to be electrical. Well, you talk to the electrical engineers, and they're busy, so they ask you to do their job instead. So you do that, and that's pretty fun. Mm-hmm. You go to this control room, and then like hit all the buttons to turn off the power. And I love throughout this chunker, everyone's just hitting random buttons all the time.
Yeah, they're always like slamming on control panels.
So you do turn off the power, and then people are like, "Oh, help us! You need us we need to move this rocket." So you move a rocket. You do find the self-destruct button. But before you do that,
you're skipping the interactive missile.
Yeah, there's only basically the one thing. There's a bunch of options, but the one thing that you really have to do is set the. There's like a missile variance, or like
it's an error ratio.
Yeah,
like score for the missile launch, and you can set it as high as it can go, meaning there's a higher probability that the missiles could miss their target. Which I don't know why you'd put this in your system. You would think you would always strive for accuracy with your missile launches, but I guess if you want to arbitrarily just make them more or less accurate, I guess
just
that's
as
fine.
a joke.
Yeah, just for funsies.
Yeah.
And so you can do that and then upload the new kind of
data
error ratio, data to the missile launchers, which I did.
So
I did as well.
You do set the base to self-destruct, which is fun. At this point, everyone realizes that you are not guards, that you are actually the saboteurs infiltrating the facility, and you just start fighting people. You give yourself another time limit, and if you give yourself 10 minutes, you get a bigger seed rank boost if you do this. And as you are trying to get out of the facility, you do suddenly have to fight the BGH-251F2, which is like a big robot tank thing with legs that are cylinders.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's dumb.
It's
another dumb robot fight. This game sucks for enemies, by the way. Everything's a dumb robot
in this game
or a stupid-looking
good.
monster.
I mean, imagine the disappointment of fans who played Final Fantasy VII, where you had to like fight houses and giant snakes and stuff, and then now it's just robots.
This game just feels like it's trying I think I said this last time, but this game feels like it's trying so fucking hard to be cool, and it does not work.
You can't be cool by trying to be cool. You have to
Yeah.
just be cool.
If you want to be cool, gotta take my tips. Boom, 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 boom. Tss, tss, tss. Gotta play it cool.
That
No
was
one-
a
no-
great tip.
Mm-hmm. Well, I thought someone was going to join in and we'd have a little bit.
No, I'm not going to do it because I'm not good at rapping.
It doesn't mean you can't do it, Vanessa. We all do things for fun that we're not good at, like PUBG.
Yeah.
Or any video game.
Yeah.
Playing RPGs, for instance.
Yes. Hosting a podcast about RPGs.
So you do defeat the BGH-251F2. Unfortunately, the door is locked, and then the base explodes. Goodbye, Selphie, Quistis, and Zell. or
Yeah,
whoever
Yeah,
else
they
in
are
your party.
trapped in the explosion.
I mean, I am
well.
not too upset about this, to be honest with you. These characters are nothing. I nothing these characters. The most interesting one is Quistis, and her whole gimmick is kind of, I don't know.
Selphie's the best. She also popped up on in my Kingdom Hearts 2 stream from the other night.
Ooh. So have you been waiting for this game to get bonkers? Because you're going to get a bonkers game now.
Oh,
I'm waiting for this
John,
game
you're
to get
not
anything.
joking.
We need to hit the bonkers sound on our square root soundboard. What's the bonkers sound? And then we need to do the like air horn. Bonkers time.
Yeah, a great soundboard. Boing.
You get to the garden and everything...
Wait, why do all of the buttons on this soundboard just do boner boings?
But they're different kinds of boner boings.
Yeah.
There's like sprung and bow and
Yeah. There's the grower button, the shower button, the chud button.
the little buddy button.
Is that a boink in your pocket?
And there's the Mae West sound sample. Come up and see me. Is that a roll of quarters in your pocket?
There's the lady boner. Ah.
Oh, right, the lady boner.
So you get to the garden and everything is effed up. The weird garden guy, those garden guard guys, like the ones with the
Yeah.
hats.
Yeah, I
They're
know
like-
'em.
They're all upset and they're like, are you allied with the headmaster or with the garden master? And you can
Like,
If
who's the garden master?
Yeah.
like,
What?
I don't know. Which one do you want me to say so I don't have to do a fight? And so that's the one I said.
What? You allied with the Garden Master?
Well, just to avoid the fight. So they are looking for Sid, and you have to try and find Sid as well, but you're finding him to help him, not to give him to these garden guys. And you have to search the whole school. When you get inside, you do find Fujin and Reijin, and they're trying to help you and get everyone out of the school. And you're like, oh, so whose side are you on? And they're like, obviously we are on Seifer's side.
Yeah,
Duh.
and you're like, that's not a thing. It's
Yeah, you're like, that wasn't an option.
yeah, Seifer is not involved in this at all, as far as we can tell.
Mm-hmm. So you have to check every room. You have to check the hot dog room. You have to check the infirmary. You have to check the garage. There's a great Sid hologram in the garage that they're using to trick people.
Yeah, that's weird.
He's like, oh, you found me. Hello.
Hello, I'm Robin Williams. You might remember me from Aladdin.
It's a great Robin Williams impression.
Thank you.
That was a terrible impression.
In the library, there's the lady. The lady I thought was Renoa, but since Renoa is in your party, it's not Renoa, it's someone else. And she's like, you don't remember who I am? And you're like, no. Well, I saw you at the infirmary. And she's like, yeah, you don't know who I am? And you're like, no.
I
Wait,
remembered
that's
her.
not what happens. Is
Well,
it?
no, there's two. If you go talk to her
While you're giving Renoa the
before
tour.
the second time,
Oh.
she just is like upset that you don't remember her.
Yeah, while you're giving Renoa the tour, you can talk to her.
Oh, yeah, maybe it's later. Yeah. I know there's a point where you can talk to her. So everyone is looking for Zoo, and they say, oh, I think I saw Zoo upstairs, or Zhu, and Shu. I never know how.
I
Yeah.
say Sue.
I would say Zhu.
Yeah. So you go upstairs and you do find her by your classroom in the back of the hallway there. And she's like, oh, yeah, we hid Sid in the last place anyone would expect. His office.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I like how Sue was like, you're like, where's Sid? And she's like, in his office. But we're making people think he's not there. Like, wow, what a foolproof plan.
I mean, apparently it worked.
Yep. I guess.
When people go there and they're like, "Are you in here?" He's like, "No."
And he's like, no.
So you go to his office and Sid's like, hey, so there's, and Squall's like, hey, we're about to get attacked by missiles. And Sid's like, well, this place before it was a garden was a bunker. And I know that it's got some kind of like way of defending itself against missiles. So why don't you go look for that? Here's a pass card. You can take the MD elevator, which stands for Mega Drive. I don't know. Maintenance, dude.
And Squall's like,
so you
"Why
take-
me? Why should I? Why am I doing it? Whoa."
Oh yeah, we've definitely brushed over every time the people are like, Squall, what do we do now? He's like, why are you asking me? Well, I never said I was going to be leader. I hate being leader. I don't know anything. But and why these people, like, there's a whole lot of that, and I admit
This
we
is a
brushed over
military
it.
mission, and you were assigned as the leader. This is not fucking complicated, guy. Like, you don't need to be tortured over whether or not you should lead. Just
Why
fucking
is he
do it.
in the seed school? He hates being a seed.
Yeah, I feel like there should have been like some kind of psychological evaluation before like Squall was put into the field, because they're like, this guy is not ready for leadership. He's not ready for human interaction,
But
really.
nobody thinks that. Everyone's like, Squall's the greatest.
Yeah.
There's just a whole lot of self-doubt. He's very upset about this whole thing, but then he goes down this elevator. The elevator does get stuck. I guess it hasn't been used in a while. And but people are like, Squall, you have to find a way out. And he's like, oh, why do I have to find a way out? I don't understand. Why do these people rely on me? I guess I'll find a way out. And you have to like look for a obvious secret passage in the bottom of the elevator, and you get out, climb your way down, and then there's like a crank you have to turn, and the crank I think you can do it with just Squall, and maybe you get more seed points if you do it with just Squall. I had to get Renoa to help me.
Really?
I did. I only had one other person help me.
Yeah,
So,
I had two people.
yeah.
I had
Matt.
one helper. The first time I tried it, I was still in 3 times speed and then instantly failed. And I was like,
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
that's what happened to me too.
So you do open up yet another passage and go down some more ladders, and you get to this area where there's another ladder, and they're like, hey, that ladder doesn't look so strong. Why don't we put the heaviest? Well, I guess it depends on who's in your party. But for me, Squall was the heaviest person. Why don't you go climb that ladder? And Squall does, and the ladder falls, and he falls through this like glass window into a operation control room and presses
Well, wouldn't you know it? He falls right into the room he's supposed to be.
Yep. And he presses the button to unlock another ladder. So you go down another ladder and you get to this crank, and then you have to like figure out where to go and what button to push. Eventually you find a button that they push the turn the school into an airship button. And you get an elevator up to right back to Sid's office as you push this button, and holy shit, the school transforms into an airship.
It's pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've
doesn't
seen
really go-
airships in Final Fantasy games before, but this one is like a cruise liner airship.
It's
Yeah.
like a hover ship.
Yeah, it doesn't really go air. It just kind of hovers. I'm sure it will be an airship by the end.
It's got before
I mean, it's
this,
an airship. But
before this school looked like a save
hovers.
point. But now the school kind of looks like one of those swans that you get on a lake and you can paddle boat it?
Yeah, Swan Lake.
Paddle boat.
Yeah,
paddle
Swan Lake, paddle boat. Swan Lake. And it's kind of shaped like that a little bit.
Yeah.
The same
It has
point
the
part
same
of it
like
went
ringy,
to the bottom of it.
the same like ringy things that are like on the save points and other things in the game.
Yeah,
Like
ringy ding.
the ringy things.
It's the things that are in after Final Fantasy VIII are in every JRPG. There's like mystical ring things. And
Ringy ding.
you get an amazing transformation sequence. Cid is like, whoa, we're about to crash into the town of Balam as the school starts flying around out of control. So he asks Squall to save the day. Squall then pushes lots of random buttons and does save the
This
day.
is an appropriate time for Squall to be upset about being asked to do this because he doesn't know better than anyone else how to fly an airship.
That's
He's
true.
the only one that's made it do anything so far.
Yep, that's also true. So he pushes more buttons and it barely avoids smushing the town of Balam and crashes into the water.
But it float like a boat.
It float like a boat. And I guess it was designed to do that. So I guess the point here is even if you didn't do the missile thing right, the school is out of danger either way. Right? That's I assume why this all happens.
Where
and also
did the
Was it?
missiles,
Because the missiles are-
land then?
The missiles do explode like where the city was as the city flies away, I think.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think the
I
city.
don't
There's a
remember seeing
cutscene
the
of the
missiles
city like tearing ass out of a bunch of clouds from the explosion.
Yeah, you get the
Like
remember
the
the
dust
cutscene
cloud.
with all the missiles and they're like super fancy looking missiles and
Yeah,
they're
they go
purple.
up
They
into
have
the air and
eyes,
shoot
yeah.
back
They're,
down.
like,
It's
Missiles
looking
have
around.
eyeballs that are
Do
like
they?
looking around as they're flying. It's like, what?
So you do just save the day. I guess Selphie failed in her mission and then died, but that's fine. So you then are like, well, there's not much we can do until we figure out how to repair this school/boat/plane. So why don't you go to your room and mope? And Squall does. He
Squall moping time.
you get like a black screen of all his self-doubts, and he's like, just feels like everyone's putting so much pressure on him and he doesn't know what he's doing. And he's like, well, I guess I just need someone to help me, except I don't need anyone, do I? Maybe I do need someone. No, I don't. There's a whole lot of that. Did any of
I
you
like
find
that.
this relatable?
I like that. Well, like I like that. So Zell like pops in here, and he's talking to Squall. I don't remember what he says to him, but
What?
They're like after he's moping in the bed.
Oh, I guess
Zell
it's
pop-
whoever is in your party, because this was Renoa for me.
Oh,
Yeah, me
interesting.
too.
It was Zell for me. So Zell comes in and says like a couple stupid things, and then Squall is like, in his inner monologue parentheticals, was like, is he trying to cheer me up?
Aw. Because that's what happened. Oh, you go ahead, Matt.
We had Renoa come in. I had Renoa come in and ask me to give her a tour of the grounds.
Yeah, that's what I did too. I showed her the hot dog room and gave her an explanation of all the hot dogs and how you have to get there early or else the hot dogs will be sold out.
Yeah,
This didn't happen to me at all.
and I took Zell in there, and they were talking about hot dogs, and they're like, "Would you like a hot dog?" And Zell's like, "Yeah, I want a hot dog." And they're like, "Oh, they're all gone."
Oh,
Yeah.
I took Renoa to the training zone and she was like, nice first date. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I had, no, I couldn't have been Zell because he didn't come. I don't remember this at all.
someone definitely came into your room and tried
Yeah,
to cheer you
someone
up.
came into my room and tried to cheer me up. I think it was Quistis, though.
Oh, okay.
And
Who
then
died for you then, Vanessa? Irvin and...
Irvine, Zell, and Selphie.
Ah,
But yeah, nobody asked me to give them a tour of the garden.
well, that's what you get for not being friends with Renoa and having her come with you. So I gave Renoa a lovely tour, and we did run into the lady who was very upset that we did not recognize her.
Elium?
And Elium, yeah.
L1.
L1.
L1D2.
Then eventually you get a announcement over the PA system. Hello, Balam Garden. Could Squall please go down and talk to the garden master? You have permission to use the elevator to go to floor B1. You're like, who's the garden master?
Yeah, who's the garden master? This is the first time we've heard this phrase other than a little while ago.
Yeah, so it's the second time.
Yeah, okay. You can call that the second time. But it wasn't explained to us the first time either.
No, you go down to B1, and then you do find Sid, who is in a very bad mood. He's like, that no good son of a bitch, just wanting money. Oh, sorry, students. I was very upset. Let me just...
I don't know why he's so, why he's trying to act all altruistic, because when you're first sent on your first mission, one of those, guys with the weird hats was like, Seed is not a non-profit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're very much like, we do this because we're getting paid.
Yeah, we are. Well, and this explains...
Well, he's going to tell us why in a minute. Then,
yeah,
that
in
he
just a
suddenly
second.
feels differently about it.
So Sid goes, he leaves, and you go have a little chat with Norg. Norg is
It's a Jabba the Hutt.
he's
Oh,
a
Jabba
sheep.
the Hutt.
He's
Jabba the Hutt lives in the basement at your garden and is very mad about money, I guess. I don't know.
He's not like a full Jabba. He's a Shumi.
This whole... Shumi?
Yeah,
he's an elder Shumi.
Yeah, he's a Shumi.
He's
So
a puff puff.
let me tell you guys what I learned about the Shumi life cycle today.
Oh, please, do tell.
So, Norg is a Shumi, and depending on how Shumis interact with their community, they can either become like Norg, which is rare for a Shumi to become a big elder with giant hands, or they become Moombas.
You know, I went on a date with a guy who
Wait,
had
what?
mild gigantism, and his hands were so enormous they looked like Shrek's, and it was so cool. His hands were incredible. I just wanted to hold, I felt like I was a tiny baby. My little hands in his giant. Anyway, do go on.
So so these Shumis can either turn into old Shumis with the long necks that hang over their chest, or they can become Moombas, the little cat fox people.
Okay, that makes no sense.
It
That makes
doesn't make
no
any
sense.
If they're nice, do they become Moombas, or if they're nice, do they become Norgs?
You know what? I don't know.
I think it's pretty clear the answer to
I'm
that
only telling
question
you
because
what I learned.
Norg's a jerk.
I feel like
And
Norgs
this
are
whole
significant in some way to the community. Norg looks like, in The Hobbit, they had that troll king with a ball sack for a chin. That's
yeah,
what
he looked
Norg
terrible.
has going
that
on.
was the Goblin King. What a goddamn travesty that was.
Oh, that was
Remember-
that was the best part of that.
No way. Remember how great the goblins are in the Hobbit HBO animated movie?
What was the name of Brian Blessed's Jar Jar Binks character?
Yes, he also looks like that, like the one that goes like.
Yeah, he's kind of like one of those guys.
I don't have the
Boss
cheeks to go.
Nass
Boss
or
Nass.
something, right?
Boss Nass, yeah. He's a real Boss Nass. With giant hands, I just
So-
wanna-
And he lives
Anyway,
in a spaceship.
This whole speech that he gives really confused me because he basically tells us that we were tricked into trying to assassinate the sorceress, but that he did want us to assassinate the sorceress, and that the orders did come from Sid and the other garden. So really, we weren't tricked into it. The people that are in charge of us told us what to do, and we've never met this dude before. So what the fuck?
Well, he also says when Sid and his wife, the sorceress, were building the school, and you're like, wait,
And you're
what?
like, whoa,
You're like,
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Pardon? He's like,
Is
yeah,
what?
when Adia and Sid were building the school 20 years ago, they needed money, and I had a lot of money because I'm a cool Norg, and I just have sweet stacks.
That's how
And-
investors work, right? They live in your basement.
Yes, they live in your basement in a weird robotic clamshell and tell you
And
what
then
to
they fight
do.
you.
And, but he also says, the school was built to fight the sorceress Adele because she was rolling in the deep. And you're like, well, I don't want to fight her. who's Adele? And she's the sorceress of Esther.
Oh,
So-
really? I must have missed this little bit of dialogue. I thought that it was built by Adia to defeat Adia.
No, Cid was like, well, I think that Cid talks about this later, about that he was worried that he might have to kill Adia with it. So you tell Norg about the missile attack and the sorceress, and the Norg's like, well, I gotta kill someone like you just to get Adia's favor and get her back on your side. So Norg does decide to attack you, and you do fight him. And first you got to fight his big robot shell, which opens up. Once again, I still do like 8 gajillion damage, so I was just drawing all the bio I could first before. Oh, I also, you know how you can junction elements to your attack? I junctioned 100 drains to my attack, and I was healing exactly the amount of damage I did. And that was crazy because I do like 5,000 damage. So I'd heal 5,000 every time I hit somebody.
That's fantastic. I love it.
Cool.
It's great. I recommend doing that.
I sucked a Leviathan out of Norge.
Yep.
Oh,
I forgot to do that.
You sure can get a girlfriend, a big GF out of Norg.
Man.
Forgot.
Have you
You have to
used-
wait till he comes out of his shell.
Yes. Yeah. It's when like the precious soft boy with big hands inside is revealed that you can actually get the Leviathan.
Mm-hmm. Remember, friends, when you get through a man's shell and the precious soft boy on the inside is revealed, suck the Leviathan out of him.
Yep. Yeah, you got to draw that out of him. So what did you name your Leviathan?
Leviathan.
Oh. I named, what did I name him? I think I was like Fishyman or something silly. I can't remember. Splash Time.
Great.
Glug
Splash
Glug.
Time.
I don't know. Something like that. Yeah, so I got a girlfriend. You guys should just load your save before that. You all have like 80 saves, right?
Sure.
I think I have a save at the end of the Galbadian mission. I could go and redo it all. I mean, it only took like 15 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I know. Jim Raw Dogs games with one save. He's just
didn't
living
even,
dangerously.
Playing these games, it had never really occurred to me to have a bunch of different saves until John was like, "You only have one save?"
He likes living dangerously.
Yeah, I guess.
That never really bit me in the ass until we played
Elder Scrolls.
and
Yep.
my save corrupted.
No, I always have multiple saves just in case, just for situations like this where you miss summon or something.
Yeah, I switch between 3.
I
Just
have
kinda...
not since the first chunker have I used a summon because I did the thing where everyone's so powerful I don't.
Yeah,
need them.
no, it's stupid.
But I
So
want to go
anyway.
back and do them just because I love the animation of the summons. I want to go look at all of them. So you defeat Norg. He's very upset. He's dead. You killed Norg.
I don't think you kill him. Like a bubble forms around him.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Well,
he puts up a force field and he's like, "My money will protect me. I'm the investor class.
So you go back and talk to Cid. He's in the infirmary.
I'm too big to fail."
And you can now ask Cid to explain everything. And he's like, "Oh yeah, Adia kind of is my wife. You're right."
Wait. I like you find him in the infirmary and you talk to the lady out front and she yells to Cid, like making sure it's okay if they come in. And you walk in and he goes, "Okay, come in. It's fine. I'm done crying."
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
That's great. I love
He's
Robert
not
Williams.
injured. He just
He's a
was
great
having
dad.
a moment.
Yeah.
He
it's
loves all
really
of his
funny.
kids. He's a good dad.
Oh, Captain, my captain.
You know that if he gets kicked out of this garden, he'll come back as like a cleaning lady, but like a Scottish cleaning lady,
Uh-huh.
just so that he can hang out with his favorite students again.
Mrs. Cidfire, everybody's favorite character.
Yeah, Mrs. Cidfire. The name of this episode. So then you talk to Zhu. Let's say Zoo. So you talk to Zoo, and she then are interrupted because there is a ship outside. You go up to this door, which apparently is the ship's deck.
Yeah, there's an awesome deck on the second floor. It's cool.
Mm-hmm. And you do see that. So this part's really weird. The sorceress's garden ship docks, and they're like, "Oh no, we come in peace." And like Squall takes out his gunblade anyway, like, "Dude, no, chill. We're not trying to attack anyone. We're just here to talk to L1 and get her back." And they're like, "What? L1?" And they're like, "Yeah, she's on the ship. She's been on the ship for a while." And you are stunned. They tell you to go look for L1. She's in the library. And it's the dinosaur lady. Okay, when I say dinosaur lady, I do mean bug lady. I apologize. She was the lady you saved from the bug, the one who saw you in the infirmary at the beginning of the game. And she's like, "Yeah, I'm L1 from Laguna Times. I do know Laguna." And you're like, "Well, what's happened? What are these dreams? Where's Laguna?" And she's like, "Actually, I can't answer any of your questions. Sorry."
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I guess this is the first real indication we've had that we are experiencing the past when we see through Laguna's eyes, because this lady is a full-grown lady and not a little girl.
No, she all grown up.
You can ask her about Laguna, and she's like, "I'll always love Uncle Laguna."
Aww.
Me too.
And then you escort her off the ship, and she like whispers something in your ear, and Squall tells her like, "Don't count on me," which is super fucking cool, guy. And she whispers something in his ear, and it does like a little overlay, and in his mind, he's like, "Her last words to me were, 'My life is in your hands.'"
Ooh.
And Squall was like, "That's exactly what I don't want people to say. I don't want them to remember me after I die."
And then the garden crashes into Fisherman's horizon. End of Chunker! Although, let's just say, the cutscene here does remind me of Godzilla, the North American Godzilla that came out the year before, where the guy's like fishing in this village and then has to run. Yeah. And he's really trying to catch that fish. Like, he kind of sticks around way too long because he's like, "Oh, I don't know, that ship is coming, but I really got a big one here.
It's so big."
But you do crash into Fisherman's horizon, and wonderful cutscene. 10 out of 10. Mm-hmm. The end of this chunker. Jim, where are we playing to next time?
Jim's not here, man.
Next time on Square Roots, we're gonna finish disc 2.
Thanks, Jim.
How will we know when we finish disc 2?
Yeah, John, that's not helpful. This game does not tell us discs.
Yes, it does. It gives you a black screen and then says, "Do you want to save?" And then when you save, it tells you you're now on disc 3. Like, your save always says what disc you're on. So when you get the black screen that says, "Do you want to save?" that's where you play to.
Should we save when we get the screen?
Yes, of course. Why wouldn't you? Make a new save. Don't just write over your old one.
So you're saying we should save when we get to that screen?
You should save.
I'm confused.
There is... Let me see. There's a boss fight here. Oh, there's a lot of boss fights. I don't really want to say... There's a big boss fight against a big character who you can also get a summon from. So don't forget to draw from the boss fight at the end of this game.
Thank you. I now have enough information. No, I'm satisfied. I am.
It's the end of disc 2. There's a big boss fight at the end of going back to Galbadia Garden. So that big boss fight at the end of Galbadia Garden is the one that you got to get to.
Great. Galbadia Garden.
Mm-hmm. So that's it for this chunker. John, what are you squarely against?
Dun, dun, dun. I am roundly for that the game has a bunch of different stuff that happens depending on who's in your party. I love that kind of stuff. I feel like it makes your choices matter and makes replaying the game more fun. What about you, Matthew?
I'm roundly for Zell getting exploded at the end of this middle of this chunker. Good. I hope he doesn't come back.
I think we all know they're coming back.
What about you, Vanessa? What are you squarely against?
I'm roundly for that little red dude, the Moomin that we pick up, and how when every like hero character is doing their pose, he's also like, and I think we glossed over that at one point you can ask him to open a shortcut on a particular floor. It doesn't seem to matter which floor you ask him to open the shortcut on. He just like opens a door so you don't have to go all the way around the loop.
And well, all the Moomins in that room will open up shortcuts to different floors.
I didn't have random battles on, so it didn't make a difference to me.
Oh boy. So, Matt and see, this is a problem. Matt and Jim stream to a Twitch, but unfortunately Matt's Twitch does not have archives, so I could not watch their stream.
Oh, it didn't archive?
Don't forget to turn archives on your stream.
Well, I couldn't stream to the Square Roots Twitch because it's tied to your email address, your personal email address.
Oh.
And you were not around.
I'm sorry. But I went to Matt's one, but it doesn't archive. I think that's an option you have to turn on. But we also stream to YouTube through Zoom, and we'll be doing Phantasmagoria 2 soon. Maybe next weekend?
Pending. Unclear.
Pending. Okay, we'll figure it out.
Probably.
Okay, I want to do it soon because I've never played Phantasmagoria 2, and it looks insane. We also have a Patreon. Our Patreon has 2 levels. Vanessa, what are the 2 levels?
Level 1 for any amount of money a month, except the lowest amount is $1 because that's as low as it go. You have access to all of our bonus content. Do you know how much bonus content you get for that? So much. Am I lying? Is it
No.
at $3
Yeah, it's the
that you have
$3
access?
tier.
Yeah,
Yes.
let's start that again.
Okay. There are actually 3 tiers. The level 1 tier, for $1 or $2 a month, you get nothing, but you can give us $1 or $2 a month.
They
Why not?
They do get something. They get one specific reward. We read their name at the end of the podcast.
That's right. For $3 a month, you get your name read at the end of the podcast, and you get access to all of our bonus content. That is over 40 bonus episodes on various topics, because we do the bonus episodes on whatever we feel like. Oftentimes it's a game, sometimes it isn't. Roll the dice and find out what comes up. And
Sometimes we say which game has the best Moogles.
sometimes we do. And for $5 a month, you get all that bonus content, plus you have bought yourself the right to vote. That's right, it's poll tax. You get to vote at least twice a year on which game we will play next on the podcast. We have a poll going right now. Kingdom Hearts 2 is still in the lead. Again, the voters for the 3 other games have not pooled their votes together to defeat Kingdom Hearts. Don't vote third party. It is too important that I do not have to play Kingdom Hearts 2. So again, pool your votes together and vote for whichever other game you want. Like, I don't care. Just make sure you're all doing the same one. Thus concludes my explanation of the Patreon. Now is the time when names are read, and John will begin the reading of the names.
We'd like to thank every single patron that we have. And when we mean it, we mean every single patron. So I'd like to thank Allie, Karma, Meteor. It comes and goes. It comes and blows us all up. Marcus Harnsberry, Eric Garby, more like Final Fantasy Great, CharityWater.org, Chris Pignac, Isaac Wright, Dr. Fine, say everyone's name, Kevin Walter, Lauren Prince, Adam Zimmerman, Andy Vanessa's actual mom, Metal Gear Solid 1 in 2021. Andy Smith, Chief Hazard, built a guillotine that has the huggy for billionaires. Bree Girth, Jake Dickerson, Go Cry Wolf. I'm Commander Squall, and this is my favorite store on the garden. Grayson, Listen Up, Scoot Stains. WWE, Mike G. Aaron, J.L. O'Toole. Wawa Weewa. Joseph, Hudson Roth, still just a Zell stan, maybe a Zell apologist. Look, nerds. Yeah, I'm late updating my profile name for Final Fantasy VIII, but I've been a busy boy. Joshua Humphrey, Wedgecoon, Dan, Wash in the Wind. The RPG luminary is definitely not a chicken wuss.
Final Fantasy VIII, the only Final Fantasy where you can have two brothers be your GF. Hat Ben, the Ben with the hat. Do good recklessly. Oh my god, what is this game? Cyril the Wolf. Selphie goes choo-choo. Taco Tuesday on Thursday. The ghosts of Johnny's murdered Fable husbands. My roommate was eaten by a T-Rex R. Stu Skeel, Knopford. Eyes of the Shifter, Paul Bursch. Richard Burnish presents The Ark. Is Zell the inspiration behind Mike Tyson's face tattoo? Triple
Yes.
Triad Tryhard, Samu Mitchell, Armin Hammer, Andrew Leinhart. I challenge the other Tracy to a duel to the pain. Vanessa's Gold Taco Bell PS5, Mostly Rational Person hails Ward Childress. Matthew Casterline, I have no memory of this game. Ari Kopovara, Race Jenkins, Jason Timms, Tom, Robert T. Welcome to Cute Boy Jail, honk honk. Arthur A., David Green, and Hexagon.
And I would like to thank Vote for Kingdom Hearts Reversal Afterbirth Distant Apple 3.14 Final Mix Special, Championship Edition 2 Turbo, Justin Ham, PJ Enns, Jameson, Ethan G. Pearson, Christian Go, Vanessa's Extended Wham parody, Robert M. Pollum, Sergeant Spaghetti, Tyler Petty, Jack Mazzell, Dylan Rowe, Ron Christ. Is Johnny in love with the brothers GF yet?
Of course.
I've given a Cuzzle-proof poncho to the hosts. Mary Queen of Scoff, Tracy, GF Junction, What's Your Function? Chris Wilder, Vanessa's Renegade Cheese Plate, Matt Jorgensen, D. Jethro, T. Bumpkins cannot stop listening to the man with the machine gun, and so can you. Michael Crawford, Miguel Torres, Saber Delta, Cameron Shoei, Cassandra, Chris Ryan, Alexander Jokic. Please do not torture us with Kingdom Hearts 2. I'd rather see Squall replace Kristen Stewart in Twilight as a mature, emotional C.
Wow.
Rubber Bear by Buggy Bumpers Babysitting Service. Aaron Bachman, Huxley Iguan, and Christopher Highness.
I'd like to thank Aiden Marriott, Nick, David Pascal, Devin Sloan, Jonathan Ellsworth, Great Code, Joshua W. Broxson, Joshua Bennett, Citrus C, Randy P, John Scala, Alex Dillard, Andy Best, insert clever name here, was expelled for junctioning with their GF in the library. Soy Soda Pop, George Brady, Amanda Douglas, Sean Walsh, Sexy Grandma's Boy Toy is, Matt Squall is a Wiener Newlin. What? Gunblading Sid, William Westgard, Stephen Paget, Sean Gonzalez, Justin Rash, Gage Lacharite, Ryan Miller, Nathan Poirot, Ross Hartley, Robert J. Defendi, Florian Jonas Kramer, Brian Pitt, and Fresh Eyes.
All right, everyone, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. You can send us an email to squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. Come see us at our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group for smart, cool, very attractive people, or you can tweet at us. We are at Square Roots Pod on Twitter.
Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts.
All right, everyone, for Square Roots, I am Jim Banks.
I'm Matthew Van Zant.
I'm Johnny Brandon.
And I'm Vanessa.
Bye.
Vanessa, is it just me, or does Vanessa sound like really muffled?
She's in a well. She actually fell down a well, just like that. Remember that little girl who fell in a well? Remember that baby girl?
That's not funny.
What could be the problem?
You sound better now.
Yeah, you sound better now.
I think I
Baby
put
Jessica.
I put my telephone in the space on the couch between the bottom cushion and the side arm. Was that not good?
I think it didn't work very well. You did sound like you were in a well like Baby Jessica.
Baby Jessica is hilarious, Matt. I don't know what you're talking about. She's
Remember how
fine.
that baby died?
She didn't die. She's fine.
She didn't die.
She was cloned and replaced, guys. Come on, everybody knows.
Don't be so naive, John.
Don't be so naive. That's a clone, like Biden.
I heard
John,
that
let me
Biden.
introduce you to this author I read online. His name is Q.
Oh, well, let me introduce you to David Icke, who I read online, and he says everyone is lizards.
Well, yeah.
I mean, everybody knows that. Everybody is lizards.
Yeah.